How is everybody doing? Welcome to the Ready Player One review by Geeks Between Worlds. If you don't know who we are, I'm Oscar. This is Steven.
If you don't know who we are by now, what are you doing?
What are you doing? What are you doing? We make bi-weekly podcasts and other shows like Unpopular Opinion, Better Beta. So
yeah, we go to Comic-Cons.
Yeah. So thanks for watching
games.
and subscribing, because we know that you did, because you're great. So thanks. So let's get into this movie, Steven. Number one, the thing that I want to talk about, that this is not going to be a review that draws any comparisons from the book, because we have not read the book. So this is going to be a review that someone that just had knowledge from the trailer. I also had a little bit of prior knowledge from a friend at work. So that's kind of what we're working with, just so you know, because I feel like a lot of people also probably haven't read the book that are just like in our same shoes.
The movie is good enough to where a lot of people are going to read the book.
Good enough is an understatement.
It really is. I want to read the book now. It doesn't happen very often. The last piece of movie media or show was Game of Thrones, where it was so good that it got me to actually read the book.
Yeah.
So this one I am planning on picking it up.
You are planning on it?
I am planning.
Okay. So let's just start in right now. There was a lot of people wondering how this movie was going to do. It looks like a very licensed movie. A lot of characters from other things. That is what this movie is. That's what it's all about. And that actually, it makes the Oasis and everything make more sense because of all of this. I think it helps out the fact it makes you understand the virtual reality aspect a little bit more, because you could be anything you want to.
Exactly.
So,
but they definitely did whatever they could by putting anything in there. They had Minecraft in there. You had Halo characters in there. It was licensed to as much as you can get to, basically.
Minecraft World, which is maybe a hint on a real Minecraft sequel. That's what I was thinking. I was just like, what a way to just low-key announce, because you had to think Minecraft World. That's what it said. And I mean, you had to think that Mojang has to be thinking of something. They have to be making something at this point. So that could be it. And they could have just thrown it in the movie, because it's one of the first things that is actually the first thing you see. It's like portal. You're in the world. Minecraft World goes through, and then it takes you through the rest of the world. So
and that's how you knew this movie was going to
be right there. Cameos, everything you want in geek culture. This is a movie that just makes you feel so grateful for the time and place that we live in. You know, like a lot of people's first time thinking that was just like Spider-Man and Avengers. We never thought that was going to happen, and it did. And now we have these huge licensed movies that are fantastic. So let's get in first. Characters. Wade, what'd you think of him? Wade in real life and Wade as in Parzival.
That's what's weird about this movie, is you kind of have to think that way.
Yeah,
with all the characters, because one thing we were discussing was maybe one of the reasons or the main two actors were cast was because they have great voice acting skills.
They do, yeah.
That was half of the movie was voice acting. Voice acting and
more than half.
Yeah, definitely more than half. And it really does. I definitely liked their animated personas a little bit more. I didn't exactly like their designs as much, but it just felt more fleshed out and everything. And then when you got to their actual actors and stuff, some of them fell low. There was definitely a couple of the most awkward scenes of the movie were definitely them in real life, which granted maybe they were trying to portray it that way, since I mean they do live in a virtual world the whole time.
Yeah, exactly.
But still, like, it was like I was just like,
that was kind of like a rough scene.
Yeah, like really rough.
Now really rough. You say that you had a little bit of gripes with how like there was some character design. This was something that I kind of didn't have a problem with in the movie. Maybe it's because when I first saw the trailer and I saw how everybody looked, I thought that. Maybe I got over that right away. I also thought that once they started blending virtual world and reality, I thought it looked very, very good. Also, we won't be going into...
it all looked great. It was just their designs.
For sure.
I thought they could have made some better design choices on some of the main characters when you have them next to characters like Tracer and next to Master Chief.
But no matter what, you're going to fall short. That's the thing. I think no matter what, you're going to fall short, because you're looking at Tracer, you're looking at Master Chief, and you're not looking at some changed version of them to make them fit inside the Oasis. It's exactly them. It's exactly their builds.
Them, but it's just I feel like they could have just put a little bit more work on making the designs, the main character designs, just look a little better. My main gripes were like H. His character he just looked like one of those fake characters that you see in like a video game that's like, it's like a movie, but in the movie they have some sort of fake video game that they have to put in there, and it's always a sequel. It's like, this is Blood Killer 3 and this is the main character. That's exactly what H looked like.
Yeah, absolutely. No, yeah. Out of all the characters, I thought H fell the shortest.
He definitely felt the shortest. And then my favorite being definitely Z or Wade. Wade's character was definitely, he definitely looked the best.
Yeah.
But even him, like in the trailers,
I think Shoto looked the best, honestly. I really liked the way Shoto looked. Yeah, I think he looked awesome. Cool. Yeah. Like, essentially, because, like, he was always the person looking up at stuff, you know, and like I thought he looked awesome every time.
Yeah, sure. I have to watch it through my fingers.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and there's some awesome cameos that you absolutely don't expect. We won't be going into spoilers, so you don't have to worry about that. Everything's good. Everything's good. But nevertheless, let's talk about these moments here in the movie to where it's very, very licensed in your face, and it works so well.
Yeah.
That's what gets the movie from a B movie to an A movie, in my opinion, is because there's times to where they use these characters, these settings, which is something that I didn't expect. I mean, I don't know why. I should have expected, you know, like them take settings straight out of certain pop culture things and go into them, but nevertheless, it looks like they use footage and film from classic movies and insert and overlay characters over it, and it looks awesome. There's a scene specifically in this movie that you guys are gonna love, and it just raises the level. You're like, wow, I can't believe they're doing this. Well, this is so cool.
I was expecting, you know, a lot of video game stuff, and when they did more movies, and because it's not just video, it's pop culture.
Yeah,
it's like that's the whole point of the movie. And once they went into all sorts of different stuff, and when they went into certain scenes, it was kind of like, I did not expect that. That was great. That was awesome. And when it came down for me, it was those freaking visuals.
Yeah,
one of the best looking. Like, we have gotten so far at just having a completely animated movie.
Just like the first time you see actual H, like even though H, like we said, not the best character, but just how they present H in the planet Doom where everybody's fighting, and just that scene is just so awesome. Like, you saw most of it in the trailer, and it didn't take anything away from seeing that scene. That scene was still just as awesome.
Or even when you mixed the live action characters with the animated characters, like when Sorrento was with Wade, but it was actually Wade's character, Parzival, right next to each other. It worked.
It worked so good because they mixed those realities, and it was awesome.
Good movie.
No, it was so cool. And one thing I'd like to point out is that this movie does a deep dive into older pop culture stuff, and then all of the new pop culture stuff is just sprinkled and then presented in cameos. You notice that, like, the things that they dived into, music, movies, things like that, the games, it was all older stuff. And I thought that was very cool, because I think now if they would have done a deep dive into Overwatch, like, that would have pleased group of people would have liked it, but they used cult classic things to represent the stories that conveyed meaning, the plot points that conveyed meaning, and that worked out very well. And we're so lucky to get movies like Guardians of the Galaxy and things like that, because they do a good job and not only making Marvel Universe better, it shows filmmakers that you can do these things. You can incorporate older stuff. You don't need to just be introducing brand new concepts all the time, brand new music, all this stuff. You can go make a movie that is super derivative from past events, and it'll sell well. You know, it'll do well. And I'm so thankful that, like, we can have movies that are based off of just everything that we've experienced in our lives.
With like the Doom world, and with the music, the soundtrack.
Getting into the audio is just fantastic.
And you knew it was gonna be good songs, because even the trailer had Tom Sawyer by Rush playing, which there was actually like Rush posters in the movie. Like,
the absence of the Willy Wonka song, though, I didn't hear. Did you hear it anytime? I didn't.
No,
in the trailer, you hear
I don't even know if they actually had. Did they have Tom Sawyer in the actual movie?
I don't think they actually had it either.
So they did some different things.
It was definitely different music for all the scenes, but it still matched up so well. One thing that I want to say is there wasn't a definite song. You know, Guardians of the Galaxy, both 1 and 2, they have very, very specific songs that you remember the movie for.
And this one, there was the whole
there was
soundtrack,
and that was the point of it, is they didn't try to have one song.
No,
it was everything.
Like, let's do all of these. And the creator of the entire Oasis, Holiday.
Yeah.
Can't think. James Holiday.
James Holiday.
He's the reason why we're seeing all of this. The whole movie is centered around him, and he grew up in the 80s, life. His character, which was interesting. I didn't expect that for the movie. You know?
I didn't expect any of that. And it was also the best part of the movie.
It really was, because instead of them being just interested in the game and know all these levels, which they could have done, the main characters and everything were obsessed with this character,
the
creator, because they wanted to get inside of his mind
and that's how you find these Easter eggs, which makes the plot of the movie is finding this grand Easter egg, and you have to look through the creator's mind, and the creator has put his life events in the game, so hunters, gunters can go out and just look through his memories, and it leads to awesome points in the movie. Also makes you love Holiday. He steals the movie. He's the best character in the movie.
And I love how throughout the movie it's basically like, how much do you know about Holiday? Oh, well, I know this much about him. His favorite game was this was this, and it really centered around this character that got some decent screen time, but he wasn't a main character. Like, half the time you see him, not half, but almost half, he's actually his avatar anyways.
Actually, when you bring up, like, how much do you know about him, how much do I know about them, that also leads to some plot holes in the movie, in my opinion. Just the fact that you get the perception that these people have been playing the Oasis for years. They're very good at what they do. They're streamers. They're famous. A character becomes famous, and it seems like they've been doing this for a very, very long time. Yet, whenever they go back into Holiday's memories, very rarely does it seem like they go into a memory or event that they haven't looked at a million times.
Yeah, exactly.
Every single time they look at it, you have the impression that they've looked at this a lot, and you're like, how do they just understand it now?
When they figured out the first, how to pass the first test and everything, I turned to you, because I was like, how did they not, like, I thought
understand that right away.
Like, right away. Just, like, it was just kind of like, So, and the movie has there's a couple of gripes
like that. It has video game plot holes, which is what's funny about it, is because, like, you look at it, same thing when we were reviewing Tomb Raider last week, is that you look at these video game type movies, one completely derivative, one derivative around pop culture and everything else, you find yourself in reasons like, that would only happen in a video game. You know what I mean? Like, that's really the only way that you can put a label on it that just, like, completely doesn't make sense, you know? And then also, while we're talking about, like, small gripes in the movie, the real world was not fleshed out enough. No. Also, just the danger that they were in, from what I have heard about the book, the real life danger, the real life threat seems very toned down in this movie. I feel like if you are in a contest to control the main
resource of the entire world.
Of the entire world. How are people just not like there is people breaking into windows, there is people being attacked. How are these people getting away with this stuff still? Like, they should have everybody on you. This should be the biggest thing, the most money. They have all these people, like, going into the Oasis, but you can't spend money to go find this guy even more so,
Which it's like, where's the police?
Which they do.
What's going on?
And that's the thing too, is there's a weird scene with the police. And I just looked at Corey and I was just like, I didn't know that there was, like,
government
justice and law in this world. You know what I mean? So at the end, I think if there's anything that they did fail in this movie, it was like, making a big long reality, especially because, the story, more or less moral of it, has to do with, like, being in reality and being in virtual world and what that means to you, So for them to leave that out, they clearly made a choice though in the movie, and they said, we want players to feel the importance of Oasis, and that's why that's why it's like that. 110%, I believe they did that for that reason.
No, and I agree with you. The best part of the real world is the beginning scene, I would say, and it shows him, climbing down the poles, jumping around, basically landing right in front of people's little drunk house houses that are topped on top of each other, and they're not even, like, batting an eye. Even though this guy just jumped right next to you, I'd freak out. I'd fall off the whole thing, for crying out loud. And it makes you really interested, because you're like, I want to see this world. You see all these people, and this is before you see the Oasis, so all these people are plugged into VR, but you can't see what they're playing. There's a girl's stripping, but she
or there's someone in boxing gloves.
Weird stuff like that. So, and that those were the best parts of the movie for me, is when they were kind of starting to explain this huge world, and you were like, this could be endless, but then you're right, it kind of fell short because they stopped with that. My favorite part of when they were in the VR, when they were talking about Planet Doom or whatever, and they're all just running around killing each other, and then they're explaining like the rules, basically.
The rules of the game.
Yeah, the rules of the game.
Cool.
Once you die, you lose all of your money and items and clothes that you've gained on that specific character goes away, and then you respawn with nothing.
Yeah.
And I loved that. I loved them building up this huge world, and then it kind of fell short because they had to get into the movie and they didn't get to explain more, and I feel like that's where I need to read this book. If I want to find out more about that, I guarantee you in the book they flesh it out so much more. And if they don't, I want to see more of this world. Like, give me another book, give me another movie, give me a game out of it, something. Well,
and that's the thing is,
awesome.
I honestly feel like, and I know that this is a young adult book, and I've seen it, it's not like the biggest book, but nevertheless, I feel like you could have done 2 movies. You know what I mean? You couldn't have done 3. I don't think you could have done 3. No. I think you could have done it to where you get the second hint, you find the second key, things like that, and then, you find a small hint that leaves a good little cliffhanger for the next installment, which would have been just a 2-piece movie. I think it would have been so good at 2 movies, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think, just because, honestly, I could have seen more Holloway. Yeah. And like I said, there could have been a more real-life danger.
And every franchise is doing that. I just maybe it's just Spielberg wanting to do just
one movie, and which is total Spielberg. Yeah, and, you know what I mean. Other than like Indiana
some
Jones.
Of those ones, yeah. And I'm glad that I got a beginning. I'm really glad that I got an end. So.
And both beginning and end were good. Like I said, this movie is fantastic.
Great.
Yeah, no, it's so good.
It deserved all the reviews.
The climax of this movie is the best thing ever, and every single fanboy, fangirl, nerd, geek in the world, or if you've just slightly seen small cameos of things that you loved in life, the end scene is just, oh man. Yeah. I was just like taken back. Yep. I was like, I can't believe all this is happening. I feel so good. I can't believe I'm witnessing this on the screen. The characters that are fighting each other.
Everybody has a character that they love that's in it. Like, for me, I spotted multiple times. Like, it would be a chore to go through the frames of this movie and see all the characters.
It would be insane.
It would be like you see Tracer here, you see the Master Chief people there. I keep saying them because they were the first people I see, but you saw Joker, you saw Batman,
Symmetra,
you saw Symmetra, you
all
saw
these people. That was so cool. Duke Nukem,
they had
Chucky. Oh my God, everybody.
Like all of them.
Yeah.
Even with what's the little cat called? The little animated cat. It's like the little cat. Hello Kitty. Hello Kitty was.
I don't remember Hello Kitty.
Yeah, Hello Kitty.
But that's what's cool.
Standing like they're like talking and stuff, and there's little Hello Kitty and then the little black thing, and they're all looking at him like.
See, and that's what's amazing is that you can watch this movie 4 times in the theater. I still think you're seeing new stuff. You know what I mean? Like, this is a movie that has replayability, just like a good video game, right?
I think I can go back and watch it in the theater.
No, it's so good. This screams double screening. You know what I mean? Like, almost like just as much as like seeing Shutter Island again in a different sense, it has like, I want to see this just as much as again. You know what I mean? Like, so much stuff. And my last point for this is that this movie exceeds so well because it connects to everybody differently.
Yeah.
And it's so perfect, you know? You don't need a lot of screen time for these characters. You don't need to flesh out all these things and try to fan service. No, let's put them in there for 1 second. If you notice, it's because you had a connection with it in some way. You know what I mean?
Yep.
We may be sitting there not being connected with the Atari and stuff in it, but you know what? The dad is that went with his family to see this, you know? It connects with everybody differently.
It really does.
And it's so awesome. And on top of this, this movie makes you want to experience all the things that you missed back in the day. If you haven't seen certain movies, if you haven't seen certain games, you're going to want to go back and do this now because you had such a positive experience in the theaters with this movie. Ready Player One is awesome. Go see it. And if you don't know what I'm going to say, what are you going to say?
I was going to say,
you got your hand out.
GVW gives it an 8.2 out of 10.
I may do an edit that puts 8.2.
We'll see. I totally made that up on the spot.
Yeah. I definitely. That's not my official rating.
I thought of that.
It's not. But I would say I'm close to that.
I mean, I think
that ending for me, I'm gonna say 8.75. I was just gushing. I was a Catholic schoolgirl in a Chippendales show. I mean, what more can I want?
I'd play.
What more can I want?
I'd play that in VR.
I would. Wait, which one? Which one? Chippendales or Ready Player One? Because both of those
What you were
things.
just talking about, all of it. A Catholic girl in Chippendales.
Yeah, no, that's how I was at the end of that movie. It was fantastic. It just wow. At GW Podcast, people, you know what I'm going to tell you? That's our handle for Twitter and Instagram, facebook.com/Fandom Talk. We want you to subscribe, people. You know, we like to make good stuff. He always points to places, and it's never where the link is.
We'll see.
But nevertheless, people, thank you so much for joining us, and we hope that you're here next time. GW out.